All right, pre-show shenanigans, big time episode for the Waterboy faithful. Today it's episode 303, and that means it is a big area code episode. We're officially into the area code episodes. I think I first brought this up
I
maybe in
was
February of 22,
yeah,
March
no,
of
it
22.
was it was like right around episode 100, like right when we were hitting
Oh
the
yeah,
triple
three
digits.
to
It
yeah.
was that's when it came up.
Okay,
That's when
that
it had
actually
first come
that
up.
makes a lot more sense. But episode 303, and that covers Central Colorado, covers the Denver area, also
Yep, Mile
includes
High.
Aurora, Lakewood,
Yeah,
Thornton,
cannot say I
Thornton,
am very familiar with the Denver area,
um,
so no idea.
Arvada, Westminster, and Centennial. So great
Okay.
little region right there. And I just want to start off with our quick little Denver shout out, Central Colorado shout out with the greatest athlete player in the Denver area, Everett, of course, the one and only.
Jokic?
Yep, Nikola Jokic. For a second I thought you were gonna like immediately just think Broncos and be like Bo
No,
Nix.
I did go when I was sitting there when so for
Patrick,
reference, Grant
it might be
Grant
no,
started Grant
Jokic is
started
better
before
than
the
Sir Kane.
episode. He went, yeah, like I'm gonna ask you a question dependent like based on the area code, and it's Denver's area code. So like there's a really good like easy answer, but like I just want to see what you say. And I was sitting here, I was like, Peyton Manning? Like that was my head immediately went to Peyton Manning. So
I don't know
I was
what it
going to
is.
like the 2014 to 16 Denver Broncos when you're talking about athletes in Denver.
I don't know what it is, but recently I've seen a good amount of like throwback NFL posts, and there was one. It was like name a random, name like a tight end, like an obscure tight end, and I saw a ton of Julius Thomases in there.
That's not obscure. That is
Now
not
I would
obscure.
say obscure,
It's not
but when
obscure.
I was looking back on him, that was the weirdest like 1.5 year peak ever. He was like
Jaguars
age,
to Denver.
yeah, he was like age 24, 25, the Peyton Manning year that he lit it up year one in Denver. And then
I thought he
like
was on the was he on the Jags first or on Denver? I thought he was
I
on
I
the
think it
Jags
was
first.
Denver first. It
Then to Jag. I don't know. The
I
whole
just
sequence
remember
of that was
that
was a little
first
off for me.
year that Manning was absolutely unreal in Denver. Like Julius
He was there.
Thomas put up like 900 yards and 13 touchdowns. And it was just like, who the? I literally never heard of this guy until
Yeah,
this year.
you want an obscure tight end? Do you want an obscure tight end?
Sure.
Rhett Ellison,
Oh my god.
Michael Pruitt.
I hear the name Rhett and I immediately think Rhett Lashley. But yeah, I mean you just unlock some names for me right there. I do think though, other Denver shout out. I want to shout out the most selfish human, I want to say, in the entire city of Denver. We can make it the entire state of Colorado. Michael Porter Jr. I don't think he's like recorded an assist in like months. I was reading something that at this point, other NBA coaches are so aware that Michael Porter Jr. doesn't pass that whenever he gets the ball, like go send a quad team, send a five team. Like he's not passing, so you might as well.
Yeah, the
It is
difference
unreal.
is he is not Kobe Bryant, so he's not scoring on you with four people guarding him.
Oh yeah, no. He doesn't get past the ball too many times. He still averages like 13 points a game, but like he gets the ball nine times.
That would add up
Takes nine
why
shots.
the
That's
Wolves
it.
played the Nuggets so
Oh my!
well last year.
All right, I did not have this written down, but I totally forgot. Everett, we almost
Talk
had
about the fight.
malice. We almost had malice.
No,
At
no,
the
no.
Palace
Like
2.0.
we last night I
We
came
almost,
back.
we
I
almost
came
had it.
home. I had my phone on D&D and cause I was going out for a bit and I came back and I first time I opened up Twitter in like 6 hours.
You're just like,
I was like,
pardon me?
sorry,
What?
what happened? Like
It was
and
an
Rudy
elite
was
fight.
not the instigator? Whoa.
I don't actually know who instigated it, but my money's on
I
Isaiah
think
Stewart on
well,
the
so
Pistons.
I don't know who initially instigated, but the actual fight was technically Nas Reed. Well, technically Dante DiVincenzo. But
I see DiVincenzo sticking his nose in the mud
yeah,
quite often.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was like Nas Reed and DiVincenzo, and then I don't remember who on the
I'm so
Pistons.
positive Isaiah Stewart. It was against the Pistons,
I
right?
think it was, yes, it was
So
definitely Isaiah
certainly
Stewart.
Isaiah Stewart was
It was
involved.
definitely Isaiah
I
Stewart.
also saw something recently. I've never seen an NBA highlight of Isaiah Stewart. I've never seen a dunk. I've never seen a block. I've never even seen a rebound that he's done. But I have
Would we
seen
count
all
a
of his
charge?
fights.
Would we count it as a charge when he was trying to go kill LeBron James?
Yeah, yeah,
Is that a
that counts in
charge?
this
That's a
fight
charge.
category.
I was gonna say maybe we could count that as a charge. Like it maybe is basketball highlights.
Fair. I see
Like
where you're going at now.
Anyway,
The larger point is this guy just like the equivalent of like a hockey enforcer on the Pistons?
Oh,
Is his job to
yes,
fight?
yes.
Okay.
Do you know that's what the Pistons breed that kind of talent though? Like there's a reason why
aware.
Dennis Rodman came to LA or came to Chicago. Well,
eventually
LA,
I know
Chicago.
Bill Lambier
from
definitely
Detroit.
teaches classes on how to like subtly elbow dudes in the face while you're boxing out. I know he does. I know that's how the bad boys are born and raised out in Detroit. I just wait. Actually, now that I think, Malice at the Palace, that was also with the Pistons involved. The Pistons, they're involved in everything.
They breed
they
that.
Are involved in everything.
This time it was at Target Center. So what would, if it was a Malice at the Palace, what would the Target Center's alliteration kind of be?
Will we do something at the Target? Is there something we could rhyme with Target?
Would it have to be set like
what? It couldn't be at the Target. It could be like
maybe the bullseye. Maybe you can call it like the bullseye.
Now we're on to something here. Bullseye.
Like where
could we rhyme with bullseye?
Not really. I'm not.
There's a lot of things with an I sounding word that like many words end with an I sound. It doesn't even be a perfect rhyme. All right, it could be a slight rhyme. Bullseye. I'm thinking of something that ends with like line to rhyme with bullseye. I'm trying.
Like a line. I mean, let me just look at some synonyms real quick. Let me get my brain, flowing. Not seeing anything that's
anything we could rhyme with like Minnesota or Minneapolis. Minneapolis is really hard to rhyme with. Super hard.
Well, Minneapolis Miracle, like that's a little alliteration. That's not right. I mean, maleficent, male violence, I guess.
Malevolent?
Maybe malevolent.
Malevolent?
Maybe malevolent.
I think
in Minnesota.
It's like a malevolent is not like a kind of like a grand, nice thing. Malevolent, I think it sounds more
MALEVOLENC.
Yeah, we're not no English majors on this podcast. No.
Maleficence.
I have no idea what you're trying to say. Anyway, we almost had
malfeasance. Malfeasance.
Yeah, no.
Malfeasance in Minnesota.
Malice at the Palace is just
yeah.
Every single
malfeasance in does anything rhyme with Minneapolis?
That's what I was just saying. It's
like I thought you were saying Minnesota. Luck. My bad. Yeah.
Well, either. Good luck trying to find something that rhymes with either.
Yeah, maliciousness in Minnesota. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
This is tough to come up with a name to remember. Malice at the Palace. Whoever came up with that, they're sitting right now like the Oppenheimer meme. What did I create? What did I do? Like just one of the greatest names ever for just an event.
You know what? I will just like to say, like, shout out to Minnesota's commentator for the Vikings for just on the spot Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff.
Paul Allen, just right on the spot. Paul Allen.
I like recently heard some I forgot where this was an interesting little story. I believe Joe Davis, before the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam, someone asked him, like, in your mind, did you think in your head, like, if Freddie hits a home run, like, I'm gonna say Gibby meet Freddie? And he was like, yes. The second Shohei got out and the runners advanced, like,
no, those are moments.
Mookie.
those are moments that like like
Yeah,
because
and
you have
baseball
time
also,
in that
yeah,
situation where like you kind of like think about it. So like I guarantee you, like going into any World Series like a while ago, Joe Buck or whatever, they probably were like, all right, so like there's a couple things that could happen, and if they do happen, I've got like this. I've
yeah,
thought about it already.
yeah,
You give a little bit of
100%.
thinking about it.
No, yeah,
So,
Minneapolis Miracle. There's nothing that prepares you for that.
Grant, should I be concerned? Ryan Day is currently trending on Twitter.
Why is he?
I don't know. I'm saying, should I
I have
be
no
concerned?
idea. Check
Well,
it out.
let
I
me find out.
this is news to me. I don't know what he did today.
It's against Tennessee.
Oh,
It's Tennessee anti-Tennessee tweets.
oh, Tennessee fans are back at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
God, Rocky Top, boy. Everett, I'm not lying when I say this. There are Tennessee fans out there who are trying to convince Ohio State fans that they're dead serious that Tennessee's football and basketball seasons this past year, they'd rather have that than what Ohio State football and basketball just did.
Do I even like respond to that? Like I don't even know if it's worth a response.
A first round college football playoff exit, and then you don't make the final four. What did you do? Why would you take that over a national championship in football and then you miss the tournament in basketball? What? Even if Tennessee won March Madness, I'd still rather have Ohio State's. No, that's me personally. I'm not the biggest Ohio State basketball fan, so slight bias there. But yeah, Tennessee fans, they are absurd. They're ludicrous right now, Everett.
I mean, I'll be honest. They're compensating for a lot of losses. So you give them a little bit of a break. Give them a
Like
little bit of a break.
Oregon fans on Twitter, they are trolling. There's this one Oregon account who's just like, to be completely honest, guys, ever since the second half of the Rose Bowl, Oregon football and Oregon sports have looked pretty damn good. Like, that's a funny tweet. Like, ever since the second half of the Rose Bowl, Oregon football has been way up over Ohio State. That's a troll. That's a troll. That's a troll. The Tennessee Rocky Top fan base, though, they're actually dead serious. It's crazy. Like, I understand why it means more though. Like Tennessee sports is everything.
Yeah,
There's nothing else.
The last thing I want to say in our pre-show before we get to the episode, unfortunately, there will be no Peter Schrager Good Morning Football mock this year, or preseason predictions. So I hope we all were. Well, actually, you know what?
Officially signed to ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN.
Official.
Yeah, official. Today, I believe, was his last day.
So
Good Morning Football.
It's just Peter Schrager and Shefty at ESPN running the show.
Yeah. So I guess I'm assuming that that's going to mean that Schrager is now like going to be calling into the shows, being like, I've heard this, I've heard that,
100%.
Which is not the way I feel like Peter Schrager needs to be used. I need to see him in all of his glory on.
Yeah, I mean, this is an asset you just acquired, Disney. I mean, you could really go to the next level here with this.
Good.
You could really go to the next level. It's up to you if you're going to actually do it or not. But
it is hard for Disney to do that at some points, though. I mean, we put that together. It's very hard.
Quite difficult.
They don't know what to do with good assets. They really have no idea how to make do them good.
No, I just still cannot believe they traded Al Michaels for a cartoon. To re-own the rights to the like backup Mickey Mouse. It's called like Oswald's.
Oh, Oz, yeah.
And they traded Al Michaels for the copyright ownership of this rat that they never used ever.
I've seen it a couple times. Definitely not Al Michaels,
most known
though.
For the Al Michaels trade. That's why people know it. Like,
yeah, I mean, definitely very true. That might be the all-time worst trade in anything related to sports.
That is the worst trade. Forget sport. That is the worst trade ever. Other than maybe the opioid war when Asia was buying all the opioids. That's like the other worst trade ever.
Oh, God. Oh my God.
Get a little historical on the Waterboy pod today. Getting some history facts in, boys.
Oh God. Jeez.
But all right, yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
have to go
that's a good
back to
deal.
like the olden days when people were trading down the Mississippi River to get one of the most egregious trades of all time.
Yeah, I know someone back then was just just absolutely stealing from other people with some of those
Absolutely
early
got
trades.
hosed.
Just
Absolutely hosed on
I
trade
mean,
value.
if we're just looking at war added with this trade, I mean, some of these guys were walking away with 18
the
war
the best
players,
the
30
best part of
war
all of this in
players.
our references is like we're talking about like a mink coat versus like some rocks. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's the comparison we're making here.
Imagine during the gold rush, you come up with fake gold. I mean,
Oh my god.
I mean, wow.
Prospectors have no idea what just hit them.
Zero clue. They have actually no idea. And you're just like, no, no, no. I just found this in my
I just
list.
found it. It was in the ground.
Yeah, and then boom. But we just got some great news on the podcast about one
Did.
former Friar. So I think that's gonna do it for the pre-show. All right, time for the real stuff, boys. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today's episode 303. Shout out the Denver area. And MLB season's in full swing. Final four is set. First time since 2008 that all one seeds made it to the final four in the MLB. Biggest news going on right now. We got torpedo bats. Yankees with these new torpedo bats. Jurickson Profar was just suspended 80 games for PED use. And Roki Sasaki is off to a bad start in his MLB career.
And it's not Grant's fault, or is it?
You know, I actually, like, in a weird way, it could actually still be my fault. And
I mean, I want to start with that actually because yeah, Grant and I have had a tendency to ruin Dodger pitchers' careers and longevity whenever we go to games together. I feel like this is one of those situations where maybe it takes me and you together to actually fix Roki Sasaki. Maybe this is the one time where now our powers can be used for the good of the Dodgers pitchers.
Okay,
longevity.
All right. I'm open to this theory.
Maybe it's just maybe like Yamamoto. It took you watching him, right? Like that was the extreme. You watching him that early, staying up to watch him. That was the issue. Maybe it requires such a big intervention, like the presence of me and you at a game, that it fixes him.
Okay, you know what? We can monitor that thought.
Hopefully, it won't be needed.
Report back.
Hopefully, we will not be needed.
But yeah, these are just my general thoughts on Roki. After like spring training, he was incredible. Like the hype was warranted. The hype was real in spring training. To like have all this buzz and excitement. The big thing I'm noticing right now is just really bad control. And that was an issue in Japan. He throws really hard. Like when he is on, he's one of the best pitchers on earth today, right now, as a 23-year-old. He is. It's just hard though, to get that consistency. And like right now, his biggest problem is command. He's starting off in awful counts. Like that first inning, the average count was 3-1 for the hitter.
It is just one of those things though, where it's like if something's happening so much, your confidence just gets blown, and it's really hard to get back into a funk. And the Dave and the Dodgers, you can't send him down. Like, and it's not even like that's a question right now. It shouldn't be if it is. Like, you can't do that.
Don't send him down right now. That could like really.
That's how you destroy him. Up. But like that, as a typical pitcher, like any other pitcher, really, that's where like you typically do it. Be like, hey, get your confidence back, and we'll bring you back up. But in this situation,
Bobby just looked really good in his AAA start.
But it's different in this situation where if you did that, that could actually do more harm than it would benefit. So, and it's nice that the Dodgers have more pitchers to be able to kind of give Roki some time to figure it out. But I think it's you're gonna need Yamamoto to be in there and be like, hey, like I dealt with this last year, like it's gonna be good, like you're gonna be good, and get around it. But it's difficult seeing a pitcher like it's very clear that Roki is having confidence
Yeah,
issues and that kind of problem. Like you're seeing a pitcher be that emotional, after getting pulled.
yeah,
It's
it's like tough to
tough.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is tough to watch. But I just think a lot of the problems are stemming right now from the lack of command. He is just not like right now, Everett. Shohei or not Shohei. Roki has a walks per nine. Can you take a wild guess what his walks per nine is right now? His career in Japan, on average, he averages 2 walks per 9 innings.
I'm gonna
What do you think
say
it's at right now?
four. I'm gonna say double.
All right, solid conservative guess. He currently has a walks per nine of 17 and a half. I've truly never heard of that in my life. I've never
I
seen
mean, I will
a
say
number that
all the
high
stats
ever.
like that are really inflated right at the beginning of the
Yeah,
year when
it's
you really
been
only have one game or
he's
two
pitched
games. So
four innings.
yeah, I mean that's the
Yeah,
problem.
you can't really look
That's
at stats
why.
right now. You can't. It is though just a lot of the problems are stemming from the control, and I was seeing some people being a little concerned on velo down. If I'm the Dodgers right now, like I am telling Roki, like, hey, we need to get strikes. Take a little off the fastball if it's going to help you throw strikes. And they should be doing that. The other thing though I'm seeing is he's missing bad on the splitter. Like bad. This is supposed to be down in the zone, snapping late. He's throwing this splitter like 8 inches
I mean,
off
do
the
we think that
plate.
there's any is there any like inflammation injury concern that we should be thinking about that's going on here? Because
No.
last year I mean, typically when you do see that kind of just randomly happen, I know obviously pitchers can sometimes have a problem with control and whatnot, but when it does randomly start up, it is usually related to an injury.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Which in this
I don't think
situation
he's injured though.
may be better, I guess, if it was just because of him being hurt.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, I hope it's something like if he was a little bit hurt right now, then it's like, oh, that explains it.
okay, yeah.
Like you're right though. It's weird because I don't think he's hurt. Like I don't think that's it. I think he's just struggling right now. Like
I do also think like preseason is a lot different
oh yeah,
from
spring training is a million times different.
it's way different from speed, from who you're pitching against, where you're pitching, whatever, who you're pitching to,
Just
and you're
like the
playing that
atmosphere of the
way
environment
different.
where you're
And
playing versus at Dodger Stadium.
I know Dodger fans show up to spring training and all that stuff, but you're taking the mound
Yeah,
in
no,
the
no, it's way
first
different
series
pitching at
at
Dodger Stadium.
home at Dodger Stadium. Light bright, lights are bright, and you're playing a very good team. Well, I shouldn't a good team, not a very good team, but a good team. Like the Tigers have good players. Um, so it can be understandable. Like nerves, like you settle in after a little bit. So I think don't think of any of the problems he's having right now as like a long-term issue because you're gonna settle in at any point when
Yeah,
you're doing something new. You're gonna be uncomfortable at first. It's gonna be hard. I don't know how many people he pitched in front of in Japan, and I know obviously everybody knows him, but
yeah,
it can be a really hard adjustment to make. So, and I don't know
yeah, of
how
course.
Shohei did, and I don't know how Yamamoto did when they. All right, well, I do know how Yamamoto
Hey,
did.
yeah,
I
I
don't.
mean Yama struggled
Yama had his
initially.
problems. Yeah. So, like it happens. So it's not something to really be that concerned about. I think if it lasts into like mid-April, then we should be a little bit concerned about
Yeah,
him
like I
and
want to
his
see two more
abilities.
starts. Not
I
just
also think
one more. I want to see two more. And
I
then
also know Dave's like coaching, like obviously you're coaching to win games, but I think at a certain point you just gotta let Roki like let him pitch more than 2 innings. If he gets blown out, just let him.
well, I would not say that.
You
Right
you
now
say
it's
let him keep going, or
no
you
no
say
no.
pull him out.
Get him out. Like do not let him don't leave him in there to die.
Well,
Take him out.
I'm not saying leaving him in to die, but I'm saying like let him finish innings.
If it's bad, get him out. Like
I
the other net, like he's like walking 3 straight dudes to load the bases,
I
and
did
you
see
literally
that.
see him like having a panic attack on the mound. Get him out of the game. Get him out. Like like just baseball in general, like sure, he probably will get the out and get out probably, but like I'm not risking that right now. No, not right now.
I guess like my thought process is a little bit more like football, where you got a guy who's struggling, and sometimes the best way to have them learn is to just let them get through the problem that they're having, let them play through
Yeah,
and
no,
just put it together.
I don't think
So
it's works like that with a foreign player who's this is like his second month in the country. I don't think that's the route to go, personally.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I just think that's just one way that I think about it. Maybe it'd be different if it was like Paul Skeens and you're just like, all right, dude, just fucking figure it out.
Well, yeah, I
But
mean, their situation is also different because it's just like their best option is to leave Paul out there. If you bring in the reliever, he
yeah, but
will
maybe
give
that
up the runs.
yeah.
So, like,
Fair, very fair point. Very fair point.
you got a little bit of that in mind as well. But at least as of right now, looking at the 2030 free agent window, 2031, the odds of Dodgers signing Paul Skeens up, re-signing Roki down. Just as of right now, just as of
10 year
today,
old 10
just
year old
as of
pitching
today.
10-year-old pitching prospect up. They'll be up. They'll be
Stock
coming on the up. Stock will
eh,
be going up.
gradual increase. We're at the early start of that parabola right now, guys.
Just slowly
Early
going up.
early curve of that parabola. But yeah,
Juice's stock, I don't know where Juice will be at that point in time. Not
yeah,
baseball though.
yeah. Roki though, I didn't expect him to be lights out from the get go, but I mean, regardless, uh, even if he like comes into full form this year, I don't expect him to get deep into many games. Like I don't think he's going to do what Paul Skeens did last year. Like if Roki put up a 1.9 ERA this year, then like we're bowing down to our next king. I don't expect
Yeah.
him to do that. If he just puts up like a 3.6 this year, which I'd take, like I expect it to be 5 inning, 95 pitches. You're done. Like he's not efficient, which is okay. He doesn't have to be. Like this year, with limited scouting, he can get by on fastball splitter. He doesn't need more pitches. In the future, we'll deal with that next year. But for just this year, yeah, just
I
fastball
mean,
splitter, takes him off the fastball. The splitter is the pitch. Like that splitter is still
Roki has
a
also
ghost
never
splitter.
like I think we obviously have high expectations for Roki, but Roki has never it's never been the expectation that he was going to come in here this season and be the guy and
Yeah, no.
be a top 3 starting pitcher for the Dodgers. Like
Yeah, it's gonna be very difficult to do.
or to, like he in theory will be at the end of the rotation, and that's really where he should be.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, and like
um
part of my thought process is because the top end of our pitching staff is so stacked. If they were to all stay healthy and our 4 and 5 pitchers are Yama and Roki, so because they're the 4 and 5 stars, they're going up against other teams back of the
or
end,
yep.
rotation stars. Like I think if all healthy, Yama and Roki could finish the year with just some of the most ridiculous win-loss records ever because they get to match up against the war starter on the other team.
Yamamoto for sure. Roki, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if Roki can even
So
get
like
to a point
that's
where
kind
he
of the thing.
gets a win.
Yeah,
Can he leave
that
the
is
game deep enough to get a win?
that is also kind of the problem. Like I feel like that's part of our expectations is we do have that expectation for Roki. And really we got to still remember
Yeah.
he is a rookie pitcher. He, is in America for like the first time, going through struggles. Like I mean, it would be it's not I wouldn't say I would necessarily be surprised if that happened, but I do think that we should be surprised if that did happen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the way I would put it.
I'm not like that concerned though. Like it's all right at the end of the
No,
day.
yeah,
Like
no, yeah. It's not that big of a deal.
and
No,
also
no.
let's say in a world where he doesn't pan out, well guess what, Everett? It didn't really cost us anything. Like the
No.
reason why he's so special is there was a thought that he's going to be like Skeens and you get 3 years of him, 720K. Like that was the appeal of him. You get 3 seasons of a potential top 20 pitcher in the world making $720,000 for the next
Now, I
3 years.
will say though, there could be a point if this does stay up. There is a point where you debate you option and you send them down
Oh, 100%.
because
And
you
you
want to
know,
keep
that is the
those
other
three
thing.
years.
That is the other thing. We have him on a minor
Which
league
I mean,
contract in
I
that
will be
sense.
honest. I understand it is Roki Sasaki and there's appeal and everything, but it
It's
might
the
have been
Dodgers. Dodgers comes first. Like,
it might have been the better call overall to have started him in AAA like a normal
oh
rookie
yeah, no,
pitcher
that probably
and
would
then
have
bring him
been
over.
the best
That would
call.
have probably been the best and smartest call.
Like literally, that Tokyo series is what had us be like, keep him on the roster to start. If there wasn't,
Yeah,
well, I also think next it'll the MLB will certainly bring it back, but next year I don't believe there is a international series scheduled for MLB. So
no,
back
there's
to normal.
also it was also a little bit different. Like I feel like last year it's kind of coincided with with the increased prospects coming from the series and with like
Oh,
notable guys
a thousand
like
percent. Yeah.
Yamamoto and was it a manga too last year where he was also new
Yeah,
last
yeah.
year as well. Yeah,
Shota came over
Chota.
a
Yep,
couple years
and
ago. Seiya Suzuki on the Cubs
but
came over.
the point still like last year
Yeah.
obviously Cubs and Dodgers and this year
Well,
no
this year was
this
Cubs.
year was Cubs and Dodgers.
Last year was
Last year's
in
Padres.
Korea, Padres
Yes,
Dodgers,
but
because
the point was
Young
still
Kim was on the
yep
Padres.
yep. So Kim, but like also that coincided still with Yamamoto coming over and like that was a really big name person and Shohei signing very big name like in Asia, right? And then this
Yeah.
year kind of was Roki Sasaki, very big name in Japan. So
And there's
it,
a very big name next year who will sign with the Los Angeles Dodgers, Munetaka Murakami. And I've looked at his numbers. My comparison for him, Everett, is literally Japanese Max Muncy. Okay, he plays third and first.
hey, we're gonna need to replace Muncy
Well,
pretty
exactly. He
soon.
plays third and first, so both corner infield. He is like 6 foot 250, like literally built just like Muncy, compact and wide,
Wide.
big hitter, just like
Wait,
Muncy.
we're not talking about Timu Shohei Otani, right?
No, 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 no. We're not talking about Dohei Otani.
Yeah, we're okay. I just needed to clarify because we were
Or
starting.
it's either Dohei Otani or Shohei Dotani.
We
I
were
forget.
starting. You were starting to describe Dotani, so I just had to
Okay.
had to clarify.
No, 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 no. Oh, if to be honest, Moontaka is built like Dohei Otani. He's built like
Perfect analogy.
But this is the thing. I was like, okay, he's built just like Muncy. He's also a lefty hitter, righty thrower, just like Max Muncy. I was looking at the fielding numbers, pretty mid to shit, just like Max Muncy. And then I looked at the hitting numbers, and he's like averaged 35 home runs per year for the past 5 years, and he walks a ton. He is literally Max Muncy. He's literally Japanese Max Muncy, but
Hey,
25 years old. That is
sounds
the
like
other
a
thing,
good deal
though.
to me.
When he comes over, it's a free agent like Yama, not
So it's gonna be
Roki. So he's getting a contract.
yeah.
And he's like the best. He was the 3 hitter for Team Japan in World Baseball Classic. Like
So we're just we are assembling the
yeah,
Japanese
yes,
Infinity
all-star
Gauntlet.
team. Yes. Oh, yeah, yes, we will have the Japanese. Well, we might have 2 Japanese Infinity Gauntlets by the end of Shohei's contract. We literally might have 10. We might have 10 Japanese stars.
The team doesn't speak English anymore. They only speak in Japanese.
It may get
If you sign with the Dodgers, you have to actually learn Japanese. They give you an English translator, not a Japanese translator. English translator.
Yeah. But like, yeah, they're, Munetaka's eerily similar to Max Muncy. And it's like, that kind of checks out perfect because I believe Max Muncy's free agent after this season. So you want to reset the clock, but like keep the lineup the same.
There you go.
There's your answer. He's right there. Yeah, okay. That was general Roki talk. Anything else you got on there?
No, that was it.
Yeah. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. Next thing up, torpedo bats. I was gonna go Profar next. That's more of like an us thing.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
Profar.
we can end the
Torpedo
baseball
bats,
section with
yeah,
that.
torpedo bats a bit, or yeah, actually, yeah. Profar, he did his 80 game steroids. I just want to say, Dodger fans, we are looking it up right now, and we're trying to find out what was the date that caused Profar to take steroids, and we are claiming it was when he like cussed out Will Smith in 2023. He cussed him out during some game in 2023, and after that moment, Profar's numbers just jolted up the
Yeah, I
roof.
would do it.
And so, we're looking into it.
Do you
But
think who did you sign with again? Who did you just sign
the
with?
Braves, who we're
Yeah, that's
also
what I thought.
playing
Do you
right now in the series.
do you think if you're the Braves, like, are you just like so pissed that you just spent that much money? Even
Well,
if
what did they
like
spend? I'm not sure.
I don't remember, but as a general matter, like I feel
Yeah,
like
I'd
if
be
I was a
very,
team
very mad right
and I
now.
just paid you based on your performance and the performance was because of roids, like I'm not even pissed about the fact that you're not
Oh,
playing for me right now because you're suspended. Like I'm pissed that
3 years, 42 million.
I just paid you for the next 2 years based on your performance that you had while you were on roids. Like that's what I'm more pissed about.
Yeah, I have no idea exactly how a steroid punishment work. I don't know.
I think it's
But
just you just
what you were
generally are
just saying,
suspended.
yeah,
But
like
your contract is still the same.
yeah, like I'm wondering if there's any like if there's
You
any
probably
out that the Braves could have.
no, not. I feel like
I
unless
don't
you like have
think.
it in your contract, you probably don't have an out.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, unless
assuming
there's
that
something
he's
in the
not. I'm
contract.
assuming he's not getting paid for the suspended games. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so they at least will recoup that money. Everything else, I think
But it's just
they are on
you
the hook
you
for.
sign him to a 3 year, $42 million contract. Remember, Everett, MLB contracts. How much of it is fully guaranteed again? Can you remind me? Oh, the
Oh,
whole.
one
Oh, yeah, the
hundo.
whole contract is fully guaranteed. So yeah, it's what you were just saying. It's next year and the season after. You just
I'd be
paid.
so mad.
You just paid. I believe it's 12 million this year, 15 for next season, and 15 the season after.
Well,
And the
we'll
Braves
see how
here.
he does when comes back from his suspension.
Yeah, I mean, Braves here coming up. They've got some guys that are almost like certain to leave. Ozzy Albies is getting out of Atlanta, and he will never look back ever
That is
after
the
the
one
ransom
problem.
contract they had
Yeah,
him
that
on.
is the one
He will
problem with the
never.
ransom contracts is
They will
it
never
makes it really
stay
hard to stay.
long term. They're here for
Yeah.
this window, but oh boy, he does not want to stay there long term. Like I'm so positive that Albies is gone. He's like, yeah, no, get me out. The other guy,
No, 100%.
I would imagine. I would imagine I find it tough to see a world where the Braves don't keep Acuna and give him a crazy contract. So I'd imagine he's also
They're
not a
going
free
to.
agent for like
No,
5 years.
he'll retire there. He'll be a one team
Yeah.
player.
But Atlanta, they're in a funky situation right now. It's so strange. Like they are horrifying to me still, just the potential of that lineup. But I mean, they're struggling. They were awful. They just got swept by the Padres. Like not off to a hot start for
They're
them.
one of the only teams without a win this year.
Yeah, yeah, not a good sign.
Just
Not a good
like
sign.
how Rafael Devers does not have a hit this year.
Oh yeah, and I also believe he just like tied a record earlier today.
For most
Most
strikeouts.
strikeouts in like
Yeah.
the first X ABs in an MLB
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I
Well,
saw
this
that
is
as
one
well.
thing. While you
I
bring up
think it's
Devers,
19 at bats. I think he's has 19 strikeouts or
15
something
K.
right
Oh,
now.
I think it's 15 K still. That is
15
so
Ks
many
and 19 at
strikeouts, and like
bats.
that is a
Yeah.
lot still. Uh,
Yeah.
I was seeing while you bring up Devers, I saw something that was a bit interesting to me, and it was from Devers, but also Giancarlo Stanton was saying this, and them two are both now DHs. Rafi just got moved to DH for Bregman. Uh, Devers and Stanton have both said they do not like being a DH. They like playing a position in the
Well, yeah,
field.
everybody playing baseball wants to play a position unless you're like an older guy and you rather legitimately just chill.
Yeah,
Like,
well, their whole thought was, I'm a better hitter when I'm playing in the field because I'm more engaged during the game. That was their whole whole thought, and their
Which would make
numbers back it
sense.
up a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we talked about the same thing with Shohei Ohtani.
Well, yeah, what I was just gonna say,
So
like with Shohei, I think he is somewhat like these DHs in that he just wants to play baseball. And like if
yeah,
he's pitching, he feels better. Like he's just more engaged with the game and is just more locked in.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm always one still. I will still advocate for just from a pure entertainment factor, the pitchers batting instead of the DH. Just because I've always been a fan of just Kershaw hitting a home run, or you've got just the random,
Oh,
you've got
you
the
just throw
random,
back no
just
DH
the
rules.
throwback no DH rules, just the
Like
random pitchers hit a little domer.
I just grew up like early baseball Dodgers NL, like that was just like kind of standard for me. Like pitcher
Yeah,
hits, he's hitting nine hole. Hopefully you could bunt a guy over, but like
yeah. They'd
it's an
they'd
out.
always look
It's
super
fine.
goofy too. It would be
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. I kind of like I one aspect that I liked about the NL pitcher hitting, like for us specifically, Dodgers, is that we would just have a plethora of bench players that were really good at pinch hitting. And like that was one thing. Like used to give Dave so much credit for how he'd manage the pinch hitting specifically. Sometimes he'd be yanking relievers too quick. And I'm just like, this sucks. But I thought he did an excellent job at his pinch running, and he loved his double switches where he could flip the lineup around and move the pitcher to like the 6 hitter, and then
Yeah,
the 9 hitter,
move
he
the
can
guy
reset
down.
the lineup again. But like I I literally think there's like a slight reason why Dave has overmanaged since COVID is because like 80% of his brain power pre universal DH was to that. And
Yeah,
now that's just something you don't need to worry about. And it's like, I have so much less on my plate now, just inning by inning, what I need to do. And like, I think it causes him to overmanage
I mean, I can see that. I
because
can see that.
like that pinch hitting shit, like that is like a science that you got to get good at. Like, not easy to do that shit. And he was very
No,
good.
definitely
Uh,
not.
like, that was the other thing. Like, we gave Taylor that contract without knowing the universal DH was going to be a thing. Like
No, very true.
like thinking like, hey, there's gonna be many instances where like we're gonna need to move Taylor to a new position to open up a pinch hit. Like,
Yeah, no, he is now just like the team like cheerleader
yeah,
in there. So big locker room guy
oh
that
yeah,
eventually will hopefully get
great
off the
locker room.
team.
Him and
But
Barnes, dude, they're just the homies. Him and Austin Barnes, they're just anything you
legitimately
need, they got
the
you.
other day, who was the guy from Barstool where it was like when he was getting drafted, like you want to
Oh, Lil
drafting me? You mean
Sass.
me? Yeah, no, that's Austin Barnes whenever he gets asked to catch it, like
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
me,
Like
like I'm
Will
playing,
looks pretty fresh to me.
I'm
I
playing
think Will
today.
looks great, coach.
Like uh,
You sure?
you sure? I mean, okay.
Hey,
Like,
what?
yeah.
Will had a nice little 1-2 hit the fourth inning, coach. I think he's good. I think he's good, Skip. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. So Jurickson Profar steroids. What a segment.
Oh,
And last thing, the torpedo bats,
torpedo
the Yankees.
bats. Yeah.
I'm gonna come out and say this. I don't really think this is that big of a concern, like
No,
that big.
yeah, no, I don't either.
Just like if it is legal, like it seems, and it's not like there's a rule saying you can't have this like label part on the barrel.
There is
Why
a
haven't
rule about
we
the
been doing this
distribution
forever?
of the there's some rule regarding the
Yeah,
distribution of the wood. I just think nobody's really cared enough to like it's like trying to reinvent the wheel a little bit where it's like how much do you care about doing it? And I mean to be fair, like they did use a lot of science to like make the bats. Like they found where like the players individually like made the most contact most consistently and they built out the bats to do that.
mm,
So the only thing like I will say, the downsides to this now are obviously, yeah, you make contact. There's It's more density. The ball's going to go fly like further, basic physics. But if you hit that ball in the wrong spot, it you're gonna hit a little dribbler or it's gonna just pop. It's gonna pop.
Oh, you're
Like
saying like
you're not.
weak contact.
Yeah,
Weak
like I'm saying.
contact might be really, really bad with this
Yeah,
bat,
like
is what
it
you're
could be
saying.
really bad. Like that is really what the
Okay.
downside is. So
So,
if you
okay,
could be really consistent and you can hit it on that part of the wood,
with this thought,
obviously great thing. But there is still a much bigger downside to it because you're
okay.
moving the
Now,
distribution of the wood there from where you would make that kind of worse contact with lower on
now
the bat.
this is as the nerd on the podcast, you just had me thinking this. What if we can look at players' data? First, we'll start at barrel rates. I just saw it earlier today. I believe Aaron Judge so far this season, short sample size, so far this season leads the MLB in barrel rate. He barrels it around 26.5%. So I'm pretty sure that means when he makes contact with a baseball, 26.5% of the time, it's a barrel. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, not
Yes.
26.5% of total ABs. He has a
Yes.
barrel. No, I believe it's on balls where he makes contact.
Yes.
So, like with that, I'm thinking for a player like Judge, who is that elite, I want to see the numbers when he barrels it. What are the numbers? And then I also want to see the hitting numbers when he doesn't barrel it but puts the ball in play. I want to see. And if the increased numbers of barrel outweigh the weak contact numbers, like with that 26.5% barrel in mind, then give him the bigger bat. But like it depends. Like if a guy like Judge or Ohtani, they are first in the MLB in barrel rate. They already barrel it so much.
Like
do you need to increase the barrel rate?
Well, I think you'll get them if
better?
you do that and they already hit it at a higher barrel rate. You would want to because you're going to get more home runs and further balls. So I think it's more so if you have guys like that, then you want those guys to have the barrels. But if you have guys who maybe more like I don't know who a good example would be, but a guy who maybe doesn't have the best contact, maybe doesn't have the best ball placement, or maybe they make contact a lot, but it's kind of all over the bat. You don't want to give them that because it might completely alter
so this
their
is where I'm
ability to hit the ball.
This is where I'm thinking more so. A guy like Ohtani or Judge, they already hit the ball so hard anyway.
Yes.
They already do. So would you rather make their 480-foot home run go 490, or would you rather make it so their 50-50 BS hits are now more likely to be hits? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like in that scenario, I guess technically the way to do that is now you're lowering kind of that wood distribution
or just the normal bat.
But yeah, normal
whatever
bat.
they're using.
Yeah, but I think as a general thing, like you always want to improve on the player, right? So if your player is making the most contact the most consistently at this point, it makes sense for you to make the bat specific to the player and that distribution. So that's where they're going to make the most consistent hits anyways. You might as well give them the extra oomph that they would want to be able to get more consistent home runs.
Well, I'm just saying like they don't.
It's not like those players don't already hit the most home runs. No, I know, but it's not like
Ohtani gets a lot of.
But I'm saying
he's not barreling it up, and it's out.
But I'm saying you would be getting more of those, and more home runs is always a better thing. And yeah, the trade-off.
Well, I'm saying Ohtani, bigger bat or not, with the bigger bat, he does not barrel it. Okay, he is not barreling.
No, I get what you're saying. If he doesn't barrel it, then there's no point to do it.
Cause this non-barreled hit to now go less?
Probably. It probably would, because the way that it all works is the distribution and the density of the wood. If you're making more contact with it, it's going to go further where it's more dense.
Yes,
it's less dense in that area because you're moving the wood. It's not like a normal baseball bat where obviously it's even distribution. It's not like the normal baseball bat kind of distribution here and then they increase it here. There was a trade-off.
Just looks a little.
It was a trade-off. So I think there's less density now down here compared to a normal bat and more up here. If I'm right. So under that basis, no.
Well, my thought is those guys they're already nuking it.
Yeah, no. So
right?
if you're the trade off is now it's not you're saying like
They're
why would
50-50 BS home
right
runs. And let's say last year, let's say Otani, I don't how many home runs do you have again? 54,
yeah,
2.
five
I think it was
four yeah
52. Let's say of those 52 home runs, 20 of them were barreled perfect MLB the shows gone. Now you might have those perfect home runs. You might get now increase that 10%. So at 20, you get 22. But those 34 weak BS home runs, now you only get 20 of those. Do you
yeah.
get what I'm saying?
No, I agree. No. Like I get that for those players, and I think that for them it makes sense
No, yeah.
to not want to do that because you're already getting the
You're
home run, so
already,
why risk it?
let's
It
make
is
your
also
BS
the
hits happen.
it is also the devil's advocate where it's like, okay, if you are consistently hitting it this much, maybe it's worth it because we will get more home runs, but there's a level in which it's really not worth applying. But for
Like
the
I was
other
just thinking
players,
back of the end players
like
for those
let's
guys,
put it
like
this way. Like
we're we're giving you a
Luis
better product.
Arise, not a power hitter, does not have much power, does not hit many home runs, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how consistently he hits it on the barrel, but let's say it is extremely consistently. He just doesn't have the power, right? You would want to give that guy a torpedo bat
Yes.
because like
Yes.
that's the point, right?
Yes.
But on the
Yeah. Like
contrary,
a Tommy Edman torpedo bat
yeah.
might make him
Uh,
crazy.
on the contrary, though, if you have a guy
Yeah.
that
If you're already hitting for power, we don't need it.
have well, if you're hitting for power and you're inconsistent, you don't want to have a torpedo bat because you're going to just dribble a ball now. Like it's going to be poor contact. So the
Yeah.
bigger
I,
thing
I
is
get what I get what you're
if you
saying on
just
that.
have bad contact in general, regardless if you're a power hitter or a contact hitter, you probably don't want to have a torpedo bat.
Yeah. If
That's the
if a
trade
lot
off.
of your hits are BS
Yeah,
up the
you know.
middle, slightly gets under the glove, like yeah, like you
And I
probably
will
won't.
say, I think you'll see in general more of those torpedo bat hits probably are flyouts. Like
Oh
I think
yeah.
when you hit
Well,
them, they'll
just
probably be
naturally,
good. But I think
guys are gonna be trying to
power hit, yeah.
just get a bit under the
And
ball,
I think
launch
really the
that.
reason why everybody's reacting the way they are is the way they are is because
It's the
the
Yankees.
time
Oh,
what's the Yankees, but the timing of everyone being like, "Yo, look at this bat," was the 20-run game against the
yeah.
Milwaukee.
No, that
He
helps a lot.
blew Nestor Cortez just out of the water. So, um, like that is really why everybody's reacting the way because they're like, holy shit, like shit, look at how many home runs Judge has, look at how many home runs the Yankees have, and it's all because of this bat. Like, yeah, the bat's helping, but like the bat's not why they got 20 runs. It's like, hey, if I gave that exact bat and that exact lineup, whatever, or not that lineup, but like the same situation to the White Sox, they're not hitting 20 home runs. They're losing that game.
Oh yeah, fair.
So
But just overall, it's an interesting new thing. I would imagine. Certainly by a week from today, every MLB team will have
somebody
their
will have
new
them.
fleet of bats by
Yeah,
next Monday.
somebody will. I don't recommend everybody on the team having them. Like
Oh yeah, no.
Freddie, and Shohei do not and should not have them. Will
My
Smith
my one
maybe should have it.
yeah, my one thought is I believe Freddie last year was like fourth in the MLB in barrel rate.
I
Crazy
know.
high number. But exit velo, he was like 70th percentile.
So you're
So
saying maybe give it to Freddie.
yeah, like he barrels it a ton. And if we can make those barrels a bit harder, I like because
Now, the one thing I will add though
I know it'll
is
make the weak contact worse, but if he makes
yeah,
weak contact, he's probly not getting on
weak
base
contact
anyway. He's
will
not legging it
weak
out.
contact will be worse, but like here's the other side of it too. The way that you like the feel of the bat is also going to be different. Like the way that the bat is going to feel when you swing it might be a little bit weird for some guys. It's going to be different because the weight's distributed differently. So when you actually are up here and you're going through to swing at it, right? The bat might move differently in your hands. You might feel the weight of the bat shift differently
Yeah,
when you
it
go
might
and
be a
follow
little
through the
bit
ball.
different.
So like that's also maybe some guys like that, some guys don't, and it's kind of like the same thing almost in the NFL. I feel like with all the players' helmets. So they like the way that certain helmets feel compared to other helmets when you're doing stuff. And that could end up being a similar thing here. Where it's like, I like the way that this bat feels better than this bat, even though this bat helps me more or prevents CTE more. So that's just going to end up being the other situation. I think we're going to get interesting to see if we see some other kind of bats get developed here too, not just a torpedo bat, maybe some other kind of innovation now that people are playing with those rules.
Yeah, I think overall though it's not like the craziest development
No,
ever.
it's not. But I would like to see a Trevor Bauer sticky stuff versus a torpedo bat, though. I would like to see
Yeah, I mean,
the situation.
if you want to get upset at the MLB over like just clearly like impacting how the game results like occur, it like there's evidence that they have juiced balls and we like that. There's evidence that the MLB has balls with less pronounced seams where there's less like air friction and they try like that is proven. Like in 2019, that's when they first started. Like those baseballs, the seams were just not pronounced at all. And you could just hit that shit so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and we've been talking about that since we started the podcast too. So
Yeah.
it's not really like anything new for us. But yeah, I guess we can I got one thing for kind of NFL draft stuff, and we can probably wrap up with that. That
Yeah.
can be our
Yeah.
last thing here. So I have our first inaugural Waterboy mock draft sitting in front of me, Grant. And this is no trades, nothing, not getting fancy with it. Because I personally believe there will be a lot of trades this year in the NFL
Yeah, I'd
in the
imagine
first
there'll be a
round.
lot.
A lot of trades, there always are. But
So you have no trades on this.
I have no trades on this.
Okay.
There's no trades.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll just quickly run through all 32, and you can ask a couple questions however you feel like it, just so you guys also kind of get whatever your team's pick is. And there's this very, very strong likelihood that I mess up a couple names here. So just bear with me. But Titans, this is all going to be in order of picks, by the way. I'm not going to say the pick number, but just the team and player. Titans draft Cam Ward, Browns Abdul Carter, Giants Travis Hunter, Patriots Will Campbell, Jaguars Mason Graham, Raiders Ashton Genty, Jets Tyler Warren, Panthers Will Johnson, Saints Shador Sanders, Bears Mike Green, 49ers Jade Barron, Cowboys Ted McMillan, Dolphins Malachi Starks, Colts Gray Zabel, Falcons Giod Campbell, Cardinals Kenneth Grant, Bengals James Pierce, Seahawks Emeka Egbuka, Bucks Nick Emenwari, Broncos Amarian Hampton, Steelers Armand Membu, Chargers Matthew Golden, Packers Luther Burden, Vikings Derek Harmon, Texans Josh Simmons, Rams Colston Loveland, Ravens Donovan Izuraku. I don't know how to say that. Boston College Edge. Lions Michael Williams. Commanders Walter Nolan. Bills Jalen Walker. Chiefs Kelvin Banks Jr. and Eagles Shamar Stewart.
Is there any player on there that is like usually in the first round you don't have or anything?
So, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. Like, it is hit or miss. Like, you might see a couple of like Trey Amos, I've seen mocked a couple of times, and Maxwell Harrison, I've seen a couple of times mocked into the first round. I don't necessarily know if there's like a for sure surefire player that is like missed that didn't make it into the first round. Like, there are some borderline guys that weren't in there. But I think all of the very sure, definitely going to get drafted first round guys are in there right now.
There was like a couple that kind of caught my attention.
Okay.
First 5 picks, nothing unusual there. Kind of like what I've been seeing for a while now. We can get to Raiders Genty in a second. First, Jets Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
That was a bit of an eye opener. Is
So
that
so
like a
here's the
rumor
deal.
going around right
So
now?
here's my deal with Tyler Warren to the Jets. So first of all, they do need a tackle. All right. So they could draft Membu. Like I have Membu falling very, very far. And there's a reason why he fell down and Gray Zabel was up and is not. I know Gray Zabel, if you guys use PFF or whatever, is listed as a tackle, but this is not him being drafted as a tackle. He plays all positions on the O line, so that's one thing. But they very much could go with a tackle there. They could take Membu there, and that is an ulterior possibility. But if you recall, Grant, the Jets were in love. They were infatuated with Brock Bowers last year, as every team should have been, and they were really, really trying to draft a tight end. And this year, not
Okay.
only now have they let Tyler Conklin go, Jeremy Ruckert is tight end one right now for the
Oh,
Jets.
yikes. Yeah, no, they need
But
one bad.
Tyler Warren is by far the best tight end in this draft class. And he is like they need another offensive weapon right now. I know they have Brees Hall and they have Garrett, but other than that, they have Tyler Johnson as wide receiver 3 and Alan Lazard as wide receiver 2. Like they need that help, and Jeremy Ruckert is
Yeah, I was
not
just saying, is
bringing
there
the
like O
offensive.
line issues that they
They
have?
need
Like,
they need a tackle. They need a
okay,
tackle.
okay,
They
yeah,
lost
you
a
said
tackle,
that. Okay.
but outside of that, like they don't have a great O line, but it's not like you're fixing that immediately. Like even if they bring in a
I just
tackle,
feel like
it's
seven might like they just look like a trade down
no,
candidate,
no,
pretty
they are, and
much.
I think if they're trying to get Tyler Warren, like that, it's a
Yeah,
very like opportunity. But there's some points in here where you are fitting players with the team rather
yeah, yeah,
than like the
100%.
position. Um, so that's one of those kind of spots.
Okay, I'd say the next one that really had me like, whoa, that seems a bit early was Jihad Campbell 15 to the Falcons. Do you think the Falcons should spend the 15th pick in the NFL draft on an inside linebacker?
So the Falcons, also like the 15, 16 picks you can flip around. You can have them taking Kenneth Grant and the Cardinals taking Jihad Campbell. Um,
Well, is Jihad being mocked mid first? I literally have no
he's
idea.
kind of
I have
going
zero
anywhere
clue.
from the middle of the first to like the end of the first. Um,
I mean, I think
it's
Jihad's
the
great, but I don't
Falcons.
think he's.
The Falcons are in one of those positions where like they can kind of do what they want because they have a couple of holes they need to fill. They could get James Pierce, they could draft Jihad Campbell, they could do whatever. And in this
I just know if the
particular
Falcons take an edge, he's going to bust. I just know it.
in
Whoever it
this
is, he
like
will
they
bust if they
obviously
take
like
an
I
edge.
think it's more likely they were to draft an interior guy because Grady Jarrett just left. So like maybe Kenneth Grant is where that could go. And the
Okay.
Cardinals do still need a linebacker, which is why I said you could flip it. But the Falcons also still could use an inside linebacker. They did sign Divine Diablo and they have Caden Ellis, but I mean either one of
My
those
one thought
guys,
is
maybe
as
not
just
Divine, but
15th pick middle line. Like,
it's not like unheard of. And I
no,
really
I know,
like
I know.
you know, a middle, still a middle linebacker, like is a very important position on the defense.
Yeah,
It's not like, you know, so I'm
yes.
not,
Don't
you
get me
know,
wrong. Yes.
also as a general matter, like I personally don't have like anything happens in the draft. We saw a team that already had a quarterback draft another quarterback,
Oh
at
yeah,
like
and I mean it's
the
the
top
Atlanta
12 pick.
Falcons.
So like,
They may
yeah, I
take
don't even know why
Jackson
it's another
Dart
team.
there.
It is the Falcons. So you know, I'm just letting them. They can do whatever they want. Like take everything with a grain of salt because when it comes draft day, the team will just take who they think is going to be the best in the
Yeah,
situation. They don't
I
care
literally
about the
say more
cap.
so
They
like
don't care about the capital. If they want a
Tyler
player, they're going to take
Warren
him.
and Jihad Campbell. It's like those two are just like glaring trade down, like
Yeah.
so obvious.
Well, I think
That's
the same
pretty
as
much.
24 with the Vikings. Like they're trade down candidate 24 too. So like that's kind of why there's a key here on not trading.
Yeah, like you don't need an edge,
No.
right? Yeah.
No.
So
We need an
like you,
interior guy. Like we could probably
yeah,
do an interior guy, but there's no reason for us to stay there with the draft capital that we have this
yeah,
season.
you don't need an edge like that late. I think this late first round. I'm just reading these names. Oh my god, this is talent. This is talent right here, Everett. This is talent at the end of the draft. Just look at this SEC stretch.
No, the defensive,
Oh my
the
goodness.
interior and the defensive line is one like very, very, very good this year in the draft.
Now
But
I guess like one thing that kind of interesting me. Actually no, Malachi Starks is. That's not weird. Him to the Dolphins. I can like really see that
I think
too.
the
I can really
problem
see Malachi
also
Starks in
the
a
problem
Dolphins uniform.
also is that people have seen Malachi Starks go everywhere from like 30th to
Oh
10th,
yeah, he'd
and
go
that's why
anywhere.
it's kind of like, oh, okay, like he's going early here. I think he's going to go earlier than the 20s. Like, there's no way he falls to the 20s to begin with. And Malachi Starks, like, Dolphins need to replace Javon Holland. Like, you need the cornerstone on the defense, and that's going to be that's the guy. So
Yeah, I think now. Oh, okay, I just realized this. Tet to the Cowboys. Will Jerry give Tet number 88?
oh, absolutely
Oh wait,
not.
wait, he can't. CD already
He
has it. What am I
can't.
saying?
Yeah,
How could he
can
make
wear number eight,
Tet his guy? How could he
eight
do
and
that?
88, 8 and 88. So he'll
Is
get
is
eight.
is that like a new thing? Jerry's other receiver wears 8.
No, no, no. I'm making
We're
that
making
currently as I
this right
speak.
now.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Could get 18, and Jerry could be like, well, look, like Justin Jefferson's got 18. Like, good wide receivers wear 18.
Of all these, I see Jade Barron to the Niners, and I know he would be a menace if he went to the Niners. An absolute force on the
Yeah,
Niners.
yeah.
Like also as I'm just kind of looking through all these, uh, I'm like positive Mason Graham would be a smash on the Jags. I would assume Will Campbell is a long time offensive tackle for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
I would assume Will Johnson is going to absolutely smash it if he went to Carolina. I would imagine he does great. Uh, of these guys, though, on this first half, the one player where I'm pretty damn confident he will bust if drafted there is Mike Green to the Bears. He will bust if he will bust if he goes to the Bears. If Mike Green goes a pick later to the Niners, I don't know if the Niners need an edge or not, then he'll hit. But if he goes to Chicago,
I
oh
mean, the
goodness.
49ers could use an edge. Like, they could.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just kind of
I
the
think the
Bears can kind of
Niners
do
are just
whatever
going
they
to draft a
want.
menace. Whoever the Niners take at 11,
It
he's
will
going
be
to be
it
a
will be a menace.
menace. Whoever that
The Bears
is.
can kind of do whatever they want here. Like, they could draft Ted if he was available. They could go get a DB. If Genty's there, Genty's obviously the pick. Maybe they draft Amari and Hampton at 10 after what the Lions did with Jameer Gibbs. Like, it's anything is possible. But I was like, you know what? They have what's the guy's name that they traded for from Washington? Montez Sweat, and they don't
Oh
have
yeah,
somebody
Sweat.
really on the other side. They just signed a couple guys from free agency, but none of them are like hammers. And I think I personally love Mike Green. You know, I love Mike Green.
Yeah.
So I think that he's a hammer, and I'm not judging on the future. I'm only judging off of right now, and I think that he would be a hammer on the other side for the Bears.
I'm just saying the more I'm looking just at this edge class specifically, I think it's actually pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Like, especially that
No, the
back.
entire defensive line is extremely good.
Yeah, I think D tackle is this might be one of the most talented classes we've seen in years at D tackle. You get both the Michigan boys. Um, you have Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon. Like those are all.
Darius Alexander from Toledo is really good too.
Oh,
Um,
little Maction. Yeah, I mean we got
There's a
boys.
guy. Notre Dame has a guy. I think Kentucky has
Oh
a
yeah.
guy.
No, Notre
Um,
Dame's got Howard Cross. Is that his name?
I don't know. I
Howard
don't remember his
Cross.
name.
He was out for the playoff run. I remember that. Like that was a big storyline going to Ohio State. Like their 3 tech is hurt. But yeah, no. This D-line class, a lot of talent. I mean, I've said it a lot before, but like I love Michael Williams. He is an absolute man. If he went to Detroit, I'm sorry. I apologize. He's an animal.
Well, we
Like
have the offensive line to handle it, so it's
no,
fine.
yeah, like it's the thought of for me, I really want Jack Sawyer to go to the Lions just for me. And the content of just Dan, like I can imagine like a picture day photo shoot of just Dan Campbell with both of his shoulders on Hutch and Sawyer just being like, these are my 2 children. Like it just seems like a match made in heaven in terms of like, I think Aiden Hutchinson and Jack Sawyer would be step bros. They'd be like, did we just
No, I
become
can
best
see it.
friends? Yes,
Yup.
we did. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean I could see it, and personally, that'd be the best case scenario for me as a NFC North fan.
One thing in here that I do think's a bit interesting, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Only two backs in that first round. I think this is one of the most
Yeah.
talented running back classes we've seen in a while, but I don't think that means you take Trevion or Quinshawn
No,
at the end of the
I
first.
think that there's so many. It's like there's so much more. There's so much talent at the running back position, but there's also because there's so much talent, you want to get the talent of the other positions that's available when it's earlier on,
Exactly, because you
and
can
that's kind
get
of
a
situation.
good back later.
Like teams also Steelers obviously Steelers need a running back.
Steelers need a
Commanders
lot.
Commanders need a running back. You could argue the Chiefs still technically maybe need a running back. Um, Saints probably need one. Bears need one.
What pick do the
Um,
Steelers have?
21.
Do you think there's any chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers trade up to get a quarterback? Because
They
they don't
won't
have a
trade up.
quarterback.
They won't trade up. I think that
Is that like a Steelers
there's
thing? We don't trade
well,
up.
no, it's a general matter. Like I think either one, Jackson Dart will be available there, or two, I think Shedeur Sanders will fall to them at 21. Like if you look at the if you look currently
Oh gosh, Shador and Mike
if you
Tom.
look
Oh no, that
if
would
you look at
work.
this right now though, if you look at the draft
Oh,
after the Saints at 9, there are no teams between 10 and where the Steelers drafted 20 or 21 that need a quarterback that would
I
draft
think
a quarterback.
you just sold me on the thought of Shador to Pittsburgh.
Like there are
That's
no
how
teams. If
Shador has an NFL career.
I am saying this right now. If the Saints at 9 pass on Shador, the team that drafts him is not a team that will be starting with a pick between 11 and
Okay.
20. It
Okay.
will be a team that has a pick between 21 and I guess 26. It will
How
be a
likely do we think it is Shador to the Saints? Is that what's
I
kind of
don't
going
think
around?
no, I'm not it's not like a confirmation. Like I legitimately am having such a problem finding the team that would draft him,
Yeah.
like want to draft him in the first round. And it's not a knock on Shador, like he's a first
Yeah.
round talent.
If he
But
went to the Steelers though, oh,
I
I'd be
legitimately am
in.
just
I'm
looking through
in
this.
on
Like
Shador if
the
he goes
teams
to
that would
Pittsburgh.
draft him, like are kind of ahead of him, and there's more important things for them to draft than him. So I
Oh,
can see
yeah.
him going to this. I can see him going to the Saints. I can see him going to the Steelers, and then if it's neither of those teams, you could say maybe the Rams, or you're going to have a team like the Jets or the Giants or the Browns trade back in to get him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the picks in that range. None of them would take quarter. None of them would
No.
look at
So
quarterback.
I legitimately, and you're looking in between like there are more important things for these guys to get between 3 and 9, I guess 3 and 8 than Shadur. Like 3, you have Travis, or 2, you have Abdul Carter, and you still obviously they're still figuring out the quarterback situation there, so they're probably not going to care as much because the Browns are going to suck. Um, but Abdul Carter is a better talent than Shadur,
Yeah,
right?
go for
Travis Hunter is a better talent than Shore. Patriots don't need a quarterback. Jaguars don't need a quarterback. Raiders don't need a quarterback. Jets could use a quarterback, but I don't know if they will. Panthers don't need a quarterback. And then you're at the Saints and none.
okay.
And then Bears don't need one. 49ers don't need one. Cowboys, I mean, no, I think
Nah, they're
they
not.
won't.
They're
But
not.
Shador in Dallas would be sick. Dolphins
Ooh.
could use a quarterback,
Ooh.
but they're not drafting anybody.
Shador in
Colts,
Dallas. Oh boy. Oh boy.
yeah,
That'd be must watch TV.
yeah, no, it would be.
And that'd be like Stephen A. Smith's greatest
Could you
present
imagine?
ever. You
Could
get
you
another
imagine?
15 years of content on First Take.
Could you
Congrats.
imagine on draft day the Cowboys trade Dak Prescott to
I'm trying to
like
think of a
the Pittsburgh
crazy trade
Steelers?
that could happen.
The
Like
Cowboys trade Dak Prescott to the Pittsburgh Steelers and draft Shedeur Sanders.
it is quarterback. Like it is like I wonder if there's any teams looking at like Bo Nix last year and they're like, dude, none of us thought that was gonna work. Like shit. Like maybe we just go take Shador at seven. I don't know. Like
Like that, yeah, I don't know. Like we'll see, we'll see.
yeah,
So that
I do I guess like one other thing I'm kind of looking at, if James Pierce went to the Bengals, that's so bust. So bust. So bust. Like I feel like Pierce is weird and like I kind of want to see it like in the right situation, I think Pierce could be a damn good DN one day. Uh I
Well,
think
he's
it
on the
could flame
opposite
out in
side.
Cincy.
So I mean, that did happen with
Well,
Miles
I think
Murphy, and that is the
Hendrickson's
one
sitting out the
problem.
year.
That is the one problem with Miles Murphy. Like they did draft Miles Murphy in the first round a couple years back, but you know, if
They
especially
killed him.
especially
They killed
especially if
Miles.
Trey Hendrickson sits out, then like they will need an edge. They do need to fix that interior D line. They do also need a corner. Um, the problem with that is there are like no corners
Yeah,
that
there's
are
a
worth it at 17.
they can get blessed. There's it's so unlikely it could happen, but if somehow they were to get Will Johnson, it would just be a blessing. There's no way. There's no way.
They could trade up. They could trade up. I mean, like you're at 17, he's getting drafted at 8. Like it is not impossible for them to trade up to get him. I don't know what their
That's not
GM's known
crazy.
to do, but you know, that is one of those things.
But yeah, overall kind of like I hate to say it, but Luther Burden to the Packers. Oh, I'm not saying it's guaranteed to be a weapon, a WMD on that team, but Luther Burden, scary potential Packers offense. That's scary. I feel like if Matthew Golden though went to the Packers, he would be hurt like nine
Yes,
weeks of the year.
I do agree. I do agree with that. But yeah,
Burden
so
though I do like Burden. I'll be honest.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens when we get closer to the draft. And I'll probably try to do one where I have trades involved. But I think with that, this is a good place to wrap up. So thank you guys so much for watching, listening, rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at Waterboy Pod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett and at Waterboy Grant. We post new episodes every week on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to subscribe and turn notifications so don't miss a single episode. We also post exclusive content on Instagram and on TikTok. So check us out there as well. And with that, we'll see you guys next episode. Waterboys out.